He was young, he was bold, he was not afraid to speak. He did not dress like a king, he did not live like a rich ruler, he did not bow his head to the West. He did not believe Africa was poor because God made it poor. He believed Africa was poor because Africa had been used, cheated and badly led. His name was Thomas Sankara, a soldier, a president, a dreamer, a rebel, a man who looked at Africa and said, we can stand on our own feet. He became president only at 33 years. He ruled for only 4 years. But in those 4 years, he shook Africa. He changed the name of his country. He sold government luxury cars. He told leaders to stop wasting money. He told his people to eat what they grow. He told women that they were not slaves. He told young people to believe in Africa. He told the West that Africa did not need to kneel forever. And because of this, many people feared him. Some called him a hero. Some called him dangerous. Some called him the African Che Guevara. But to many Africans, he was something deeper. He was a picture of what African leaders could have been. Simple, brave, clean, close to the people. But on October 15th, 1987, Thomas Sankara was killed. He was only 37 years old. His dream was cut short. His voice was silenced, but his name refused to die. Today, many years later, young Africans still speak about him. They use his face, they share his speeches, they ask one painful question: what if Thomas Sankara had lived? What if Africa had listened? This is the story of Thomas Sankara, the president Africa was not ready for, the man who challenged the West and paid the price. Before Burkina Faso was called Burkina Faso, it was called Upper Volta. Upper Volta was one of the poorest countries in the world. The land was dry, the people worked hard. Many children could not go to school. Many families had little money. Many people depended on farming. And like many African countries, Upper Volta carried the heavy shadow of colonial rule. France had ruled the land, and even after independence, many people still felt that real freedom had not come. The flag had changed, the anthem had changed, the leaders had changed, but the system still looked weak. The people were still poor. The country was still dependent. The economy was still controlled by outside forces. Many leaders still behaved like colonial masters in African clothes. This was the world Thomas Sankara was born into. He was born in 1949. He grew up seeing poverty. He saw how ordinary people suffered. He saw how Africa was treated as if it could not think for itself. He joined the military, but he was not like many soldiers. He loved music. He loved Cuba. He loved ideas. He read books. He studied revolution. He studied Africa. He understood why poor countries stayed poor. And slowly, a fire started burning inside him. He did not want to become just another officer. He wanted to change his country. He wanted to prove that Africa could lead itself. He wanted to prove that poor people were not useless. He wanted to prove that a small country could stand tall. This was the beginning of Thomas Sankara. Not as a myth, not as a statue, but as a young man looking at his country and saying, this is not how we should live. In 1983, Thomas Sankara became president. He was only 33 years old. That alone was shocking. Africa was used to old leaders, men who stayed too long, men who loved power, men who moved with big convoys, men who spoke big English and French while the people stayed poor. But Sankara was different. He was young, he was fast, He was serious. He was not interested in looking rich. He wanted change, and he wanted it quickly. He told the people that the country needed revolution, but not a revolution of empty noise, a revolution of work, a revolution of discipline, a revolution of pride, a revolution of the poor. He did not want his people to wait for help from the outside. He wanted them to build with their own hands. He wanted them to grow their own food, wear their own clothes, trust their own strength, protect their own land. He wanted the people to stop seeing themselves as beggars. This was very powerful because many African leaders said they wanted freedom, but they still ran to foreign powers for approval. Sankara wanted something different. He wanted mental freedom, freedom inside the mind. He wanted Africans to stop believing that everything good must come from Europe. He wanted Africans to stop waiting for the West to rescue them. He wanted Africans to believe that poor people could build a strong nation. To some people, this was inspiring. To others, it was too much. Because when one man starts changing the way people think, he becomes dangerous to those who benefit from the old way. One of Sankara's biggest moves was changing the name of the country. He did not want the name Upper Volta. That name came from colonial history. It did not carry the soul of the people. So in 1984, he changed the name to Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso means the land of upright people or the land of honest people. That name was not just a name, it was a message. Sankara was saying, we are not people without identity. We are not a leftover of colonial rule. We are not a poor country on a map. We are a people with honor. A name can shape how people see themselves. When a child hears land of upright people, that child hears pride. When a farmer hears a land of honest people, that farmer hears dignity. When a nation hears its own name in its own voice, something changes. Sankara knew this. He wanted the people to stand straight, not only their bodies, their minds. Because colonialism did not only take land, it touched the mind. It made some Africans feel small. It made some Africans believe that foreign things were always better. It made some Africans feel that their own culture was not enough. Sankara attacked that idea. He wanted his country to wear African clothes, eat African food, speak with African pride, build with African lands. This is why changing the name mattered. It was not just politics, it was healing. It was a nation saying, we know who we are. Many African leaders love luxury, big cars, big houses, big parties, big clothes, big convoys, big titles, but Thomas Sankara hated waste. He believed a poor country should not have leaders living like kings. He looked at government luxury cars and said no. He sold expensive government cars and replaced them with cheaper cars. He reduced the salaries of public officials. He told leaders that public money was not personal money. He wanted government officials to live close to the people and not above them. This shocked many people because in many African countries, politics is seen as a road to riches. People enter power poor and leave power rich. They enter with small houses and leave with mansions. They enter with one car and leave with fleets. They enter as servants and become masters. Sankara attacked that spirit. He wanted leadership to mean sacrifice. He wanted leaders to feel the same pain as the people. How can a leader fight poverty if he's enjoying the wealth of the poor? How can a leader understand hunger if his table is always full? How can a leader understand bad roads if he flies everywhere? How can a leader understand hospital pain if he traveled abroad for treatment? Sankara's simple life was not just for show, it was a message, and the message was clear. If the people are suffering, leaders must not be dancing. This is why many poor people loved him. They felt he was one of them. Not perfect, not different. And in African politics, different can be dangerous. Sankara knew that corruption was killing Africa. He knew that public money was being stolen. He knew that leaders were using the people's pain to make themselves rich. So he attacked corruption. He wanted officials to explain how they got their wealth. He wanted public servants to fear stealing. He wanted the people to see that no one was above the nation. This made him popular with the poor, but it made him enemies among the powerful. Because corruption is not just stealing money. Corruption is a whole system. It has friends. It has protectors. It has people who benefit. When you fight corruption, you do not only fight one thief, you fight a network. You fight people in the office, people in businesses, people in politics, people in foreign companies, people in uniform, people who smile in public but steal in private. Sankara touched that system, and the system did not like it. Many people who had been enjoying easy money became angry. Some saw him as a threat. Some said he was moving too fast. Some said he was too strict. Some said he was too hard. But Sankara believed that a poor country could not afford waste. He believed every coin mattered, every road mattered, every school mattered, every clinic mattered, every child mattered. He believed a leader who steals from poor people is not just a thief, he is a killer of dreams. That is why his war against corruption was also a war for the future. Sankara believed that food was freedom. A country that cannot feed itself is not truly free. If you must beg for food, you cannot speak boldly. If your people are hungry, your flag is not enough. If your land can grow food, but your people import everything, something is wrong. So Sankara pushed his country towards food self-reliance. He wanted farmers to be respected. He wanted land to be used better. He wanted people to grow what they ate. He wanted Burkina Faso to depend less on imports. This was powerful because many African countries have good land but still import food. Many Africans have farmers but do not support them. Many African countries have soil but still depend on foreign ships. Sankara saw this as a trap. He did not want his country to be a beggar. He wanted his people to eat from their own work. He told them to produce, to plant, to use local strength. This may sound simple, but it was revolutionary, because if an African country feeds itself, it becomes stronger. It can say no, it can stand firm, it can plan, it can protect its people. Hunger makes people weak. Food gives people power. Sankara understood this very well. To him, farming was not just about food. It was about independence. It was about dignity. It was about saying we will not wait for others to feed us. Sankara did not only talk about big ideas, he acted. One of his strongest actions was in health. His government carried out a major vaccination campaign. Children were vaccinated against deadly diseases. Many poor families who had never seen strong health support system began to feel the government was close to them. This was what leadership should look like. Not only speeches, not only flags, not only uniforms, but babies being protected, children being saved, mothers being helped, villages being reached. Sankara understood that a nation is not built from the top alone. It is built from the health of its people. A sick mother cannot walk well. A sick nation cannot rise. So health became part of his revolution. He also pushed education. He wanted people to read. He wanted people to learn. He wanted the poor to know that knowledge was not only for the rich. Because when people can read, they can understand. When people understand, they can ask questions. When people ask questions, leaders become careful. This is why education is so powerful. It opens the eye. It gives the people voice. It helps them to dream bigger. Sankara wanted his people to be strong in body and in mind. He knew that an ignorant population is easy to control, but an educated people can build and defend their future. Thomas Sankara believed that a country cannot rise while women are kept down. He said the revolution and women's freedom must go together. In many societies, women were expected to stay silent, to obey, to suffer quietly, to carry the home alone, to be treated as less important. Sankara challenged that. He appointed women to important roles. He encouraged girls to stay in school. He spoke against forced marriage. He spoke against female genital mutilation. He spoke against polygamy. He wanted men to understand that women were not property. They were human beings. They were citizens. They were builders of the nation. He even encouraged men to go to the market so they could understand what women faced every day. This may sound small, but it was not small. It was a direct attack on deep tradition. Some people loved it. Some people hated it. Some said he was destroying culture. But Sankara believed that culture should not be used to bury women. He believes no nation can fly with one wing. If men rise and women remain on the ground, the whole nation remains weak. This made him different. He was not only fighting foreign control, he was also fighting the control inside homes, the control that told women to be silent, the control that told girls their dreams did not matter. Sankara wanted a new Africa, and in that Africa, women had to stand as full human beings. Today, the world talks a lot about climate change, but many years ago, Sankara was already talking about the environment. Burkina Faso is in the Sahel. The land can be dry, the desert can move. Trees are important, water is important. So Sankara pushed tree planting. He wanted people to protect the land. He wanted people to fight desertification. He understood that if the land dies, the people suffer. A farmer needs soil, a child needs water, a village needs trees, a nation needs nature. Sankara did not see the environment as a foreign topic. He saw it as life. He told his people that protecting the land was part of protecting the nation. This was another reason he was ahead of his time. Many leaders were thinking of only power. Sankara was thinking of the future. He was thinking of children who were yet to be born. He was thinking of the land they would inherit. A true leader does not only think of today. A true leader asks, what kind of country will our children meet? That was Sankara's question, and it's still a question Africa must ask today. Are we building Africa, or are we only using Africa until nothing is left? This is the part that made Sankara famous, but also dangerous. He challenged foreign control. He spoke against the way Africa was being treated by powerful countries. He believed that many African countries had flags, president and anthem, but still did not have full control. He believed debt was a trap. He believed foreign aid could become a chain. He believed African leaders were sometimes too quick to obey outside powers and too slow to listen to their own people. Sankara told Africa to think. He said, if one African country refuses unfair debt alone, it may be crushed. But if many African countries refuse together, they will be stronger. That was a dangerous idea, because debt is not only about money. Debt can control decisions. Debt can control policy. Debt can control the future. If a poor country owes powerful people, it may lose its voice. Sankara wanted Africa to have a voice. He did not want Africa to always go to the world meetings like a beggar. He wanted African leaders to stand together. But standing together has always been hard for Africa. Many leaders fear losing support. Some fear foreign pressure. Some fear sanctions. Some fear coups. Some fear losing power. Sankara did not sound afraid. He spoke clearly. He spoke strongly. He spoke like a man who knew the danger but still chose the truth. This is why many young Africans love him today, because he said what many people feel, that Africa cannot keep blaming colonialism while copying colonial system, that Africa cannot keep begging while sitting on gold, land, oil, people, and talent, that Africa cannot be free until it thinks free. Thomas Sankara made enemies. That is the truth. He made enemies at home. He made enemies abroad. At home, some traditional leaders did not like his reforms. Some wealthy people did not like his fight against luxury. Some officials did not like his anti-corruption moves. Some workers were unhappy with his strict policies. Some people felt he moved too fast. Some felt he did not listen enough. Some feared his revolution would take away their power. Outside the country, some foreign interests were uncomfortable. Sankara was not the kind of African leader who smiled and obeyed. He questioned things, he challenged systems, he spoke against dependency, he spoke against foreign control. He wanted Burkina Faso to be self-reliant. To powerful people, this kind of leader is not easy to manage. A poor country with a quiet leader is easy to control. A poor country with a bold leader becomes a problem. Sankara was that problem. He was not rich. He was not from a powerful country. He did not have a big army. Burkina Faso was small and poor, but his words were strong. And sometimes, words are more dangerous than weapons, because words can wake people up. Words can cause borders. Words can enter young minds. Words can make people ask questions. Words can make a continent restless. Sankara's danger was not only what he did in Burkina Faso, it was what he made other Africans imagine. If one poor country could try to stand up, why not others? If one president could live simply, why not others? If one leader could change foreign control, why not others? That imagination was dangerous. To tell Sankara's story well, we must tell the truth. He was not perfect. No leader is perfect. His government did many things that people praise today, but there was also criticisms. Some people said his government was too strict. Some said political opposition was not free enough. Some said press freedom suffered. Some workers and unions clashed with the government. Some people felt the revolution moved too fast and did not give enough room for disagreement. This is important to say, because when we turn leaders into angels, we stop learning. Sankara was human. He made bold choices. Some helped people. Some created fear and anger. A good documentary must not hide this. But even with these criticisms, many people still see him as different. Why? Because they believed his heart was with the people. They believed he was trying to build and not loot. They believed he wanted dignity, not personal wealth. That is why his name still lives. Not because he was perfect, but because he represented a kind of leadership Africa rarely sees. A leader who did not treat the country like private property. Every revolution has enemies, but the most painful enemy is the one close to you. Thomas Sankara and Blaise Compaoré were once close. They were comrades. They fought together. They rose together. But power can break friendship. Power can turn brothers into enemies. Power can make trust dangerous. By 1987, tension has grown inside the leadership. There were disagreements. There were fears. There were rumors. There was pressure. Then came October 15th, 1987. Sankara went into a meeting. He did not return alive. He was killed with others. The young president was gone. The man who said Africa must stand tall was silenced. The man who told leaders to stop wasting money was dead. The man who told West Africa that Africa would not kneel was dead. The man who told women that they had dignity was dead. Blaise Compaoré took power after the coup, and he stayed in power for many years. For Sankara supporters, this was not just a killing, it was the killing of a dream that Africa could be different, a dream that leaders could live simply, a dream that poor countries could stand up, a dream that corruption could be fought, a dream that Africa could say no. When Sankara died, many people were afraid to speak, but his name did not disappear. It waited in songs, in memories, in old speeches, in the hearts of those who believed. For many years, the full truth about Sankara's death was hidden. His family wanted answers. His supporters wanted justice, but justice was slow, very slow. Years passed, government changed, people grew older, some witnesses died, some memories faded, but Sankara's name still remained. Finally, many years later, a court in Burkina Faso gave a judgment. Blaise Compaoré was found guilty in relation to Sankara's killing and sentenced to life in prison while he was outside the country. For many people, this was important. It did not bring Sankara back. It did not bring back the years. It did not rebuild the dream, but it told the world something. The truth may be delayed, but it does not always die. Still, many questions still remain in the heart of Africans. Who really benefited from Sankara's death? Was it only an internal fight? Were foreign interests happy to see him gone? What would Africa look like if more leaders had followed his path? These questions may never fully go away because Sankara's death was bigger than one man. It became a symbol of what happens when a leader challenges too much, too fast, in a world where power does not like to be disturbed. Thomas Sankara is gone, but his questions are still alive. Why is Africa rich but Africans are poor? Why does African leaders live like kings while citizens suffer? Why does African countries import food when they have land? Why do African leaders run abroad for treatment while local hospitals fail? Why do we borrow so much but we build so little? Why do we sell raw materials and buy back finished goods? Why do we praise foreign things and reject our own? Why do we allow corruption to kill our future? Why do we call young people leaders of tomorrow but block them today? Why do we say Africa is free when Africa still depends on others for almost everything? These are Sankara's questions, and they still hurt because they are still true. Africa has changed in many ways. There are bigger cities now, more phones, more roads, more banks, more music, more young talent, but many deep problems remain. Bad leadership, corruption, foreign control, debts, poverty, weak health systems, jobless youths, leaders who fear change. This is why Sankara still matters. He is not just history, he is a mirror. When Africa looks at Sankara, Africa sees what it lost, but also what it can become. Why do we say Thomas Sankara was the president Africa was not ready for? Because he asked too much from a broken system. He asked leaders to stop stealing, but many leaders love stealing. He asked many officials to live simply, but many officials love luxury. He asked people to produce locally, but the system loved imports. He asked women to stand tall, but tradition wanted them silent. He asked Africa to reject unfair debts, but many leaders were afraid. He asked his country to believe in itself, but many people have been taught to doubt Africa. He wanted change fast, maybe too fast for some. He wanted a new mind, a new nation, a new African pride, but the old system fought back. The old system was strong. It had money, it had fear, it had foreign friends, it had local allies, it had people who did not want change. Sankara had the people, he had courage, he had ideas, but courage and ideas are not always enough. A revolution must also survive betrayal, it must survive pressure, it must survive hunger, it must survive fear, it must survive time. Sankara's revolution did not survive long, but his message survived. That is why his face is still on posters. That is why his speeches still move young people. That is why leaders still compare themselves to him. That is why Africa still remembers him, because Africa knows that for a short time, one young man dared to imagine something different. Thomas Sankara ruled for only 4 years, but some leaders ruled for 40 years and lived nothing. He had little time, but he left big questions. He showed a different kind of leadership. He showed that a president does not have to live like a king. He showed that a poor country can still have pride. He showed that women's freedom is part of national freedom. He showed that food is power. He showed that health is leadership. He showed that trees matters. He showed that Africa must stop begging with one hand while holding riches in another hand. He showed that the greatest battle is not only against foreign control, it is also against fear inside ourselves. The fear to stand up, the fear to speak, the fear to build, the fear to believe. Sankara challenged the West, but he also challenged Africa. He challenged African leaders. He challenged African men. He challenged African youth. He challenged the poor to believe in their own strength. He challenged everyone, and maybe that is why he had to be removed. Because a leader who changes laws is one thing, but a leader who changes minds is another thing. Thomas Sankara was killed, but the idea did not die, because ideas can hide in silence. They can sleep for years. They can travel through songs. They can live in old videos. They can wake up in a new generation. Today, when young Africans ask for honest leaders, Sankara is there. When they ask for African pride, Sankara is there. When they ask why leaders are rich and people are poor, Sankara is there. When they ask why Africa still kneels, Sankara is there. Not as a perfect man, but as a reminder that Africa once had a leader who dared to live differently. A reminder that power can serve the poor. A reminder that leadership can be simple. A reminder that freedom is not given, it is built. So when we remember Thomas Sankara, we are not only remembering the past, we are asking about the future. What kind of Africa do we want? An Africa of leaders who take, or an Africa of leaders who serve? An Africa that begs, or an Africa that builds? An Africa that fears the world, or an Africa that stands with dignity? Thomas Sankara did not live long enough to finish his dream, but he lived long enough to prove that another Africa was possible. And that is why, many years after his death, his name still burns like a fire, because some men die, but what they stood for still keeps working. Thomas Sankara was not ready to bow. Maybe Africa was not ready for him, but today, Africa may need him more than ever. This is the story of Thomas Sankara, the president Africa was not ready for, the man who challenged the West and paid the price. If this documentary touched you, share your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Africa needs leaders like Thomas Sankara today? Was he a hero, or was he too radical, or was he simply ahead of his time? Comment below. Subscribe to Afri Arise for more African stories, hidden truth, and powerful documentaries, because Africa's story must be told by Africans. My name is Blessing Chris. See you in the next one.